All right. So the first thing I want to mention before I get started is so on June 8th, I already mentioned to you that I'm going to have a medical procedure done, so I won't be able to work that day. So that's a Tuesday. That's when this class actually happens. So I'm gonna reschedule this class from the Tuesday, June 8th to the Monday, June 7th. So it's gonna be same time. It's just gonna be a day before. Okay. So just remember that. I keep reminding you guys, but I want to let you know ahead of time. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to start with is your warm-up question. So you're gonna put this in the chat, the response, okay? So the warm-up question is, you're gonna write your response in the chat, and then I want you to list one monthly expense you had. So write a monthly expense that you have. For instance, it could be like cable, it could be a cell phone, it could be internet. What monthly expense do you have? Just write one monthly expense you have, Andy. And I believe Ernie, if you can write one monthly expense you have, so something that you have to pay every month, write that in the chat, and then list two other expenses that you bought this month so far. So tell me, what else did you buy this month? Two other things. So one monthly expense that you have every month, and something, and two other expenses, two other things that you bought this month. Okay, so you don't have to pay with your money. If you did, it could be like, your mom paid it, your dad, your brother, whoever. Just list one thing that needs to be paid, that's yours, that needs to be paid every month, and two other expenses you had this month. Anything else you bought this month? You gave a couple of minutes. All right, so okay, so Andy, you have a month. You mentioned, you and Ernie, both of you mentioned that you have phone bills, right? For monthly expense, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what else? What other things have you bought this month so far? So write it down. Ernie, you said shoes and chain. What's the chain? Like a gold chain?
Yeah,
Okay. Is it gold or is it silver? What is it?
go.
Okay, you bought it for yourself or
Yeah,
somebody bought it for you?
I bought it for myself.
Cool. What kind of shoes? Just to be nosy.
Some 11, some Jordans.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. So Andy, do you have you can say it out loud, you don't have to write it on the chat. Did you buy anything else this month so far? What other purchases have you bought? It could be from your money, or it could be just your parents gave you or your brother, but it was for you.
Nothing else really.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Hi, Anna. So
Hi.
Ernie, I mentioned it to Andy, but I have another teacher who's going to be observing me. Give me some feedback on how to better, provide learning opportunities for you guys. So we do this with each other. So just want to let you know. Heads up, okay? All right, perfect. All right. So, and by the way, Anna, I'm recording this just in case too. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's move on um, to this week's assignments, and I'm gonna guide you through some of them, especially the math. Okay, so we might start doing some math. This is gonna be recorded. I'm gonna post it again. You don't have to take notes, but it's gonna be posted on later on today. Since I have to convert it to YouTube, it's usually better. And let's start with week 7. So make sure. So the other weeks, I decided to give you a little, because of the 2 weeks that we had issues with Schoology, I decided just to leave 2 weeks open. The last 2 weeks were open, but I also had another week open. So I want to give you guys as much opportunities as possible to make sure that you complete the credits for this class. So make sure to catch up. If you, so the last day of submitting assignments, including the APT, will be for us the 18th, which is the graduation date. So make sure not to wait until the last minute because it's probably going to be too much for you to complete all at once. All right. So let's. So how many of you guys already started actually with the assignments? If you can give me a thumbs up, or you can just say if you did. Verbally or okay. Pierre, I haven't met you. This is let me put my camera, my bad. So we always put cameras to introduce ourselves. So my name is Jesus Trigo. I'm the math teacher, and Pierre, I haven't met you. So I know you're still connecting. I know you can hear me, but probably not. I can't hear you yet. Okay. So we'll give it a couple of minutes. So we're basically right now reviewing this week's assignments. So I have folders that are weekly. So I arrange up weekly folders, and then after that, I actually arrange it by either by days. So the first folder is for actually 2 days assignments. And let me go back. Since you're new, I'm going to kind of give you a little more information. Let me go back. So for the purpose of the May 24th, 25th, we're going to start with basic budgets. We're going to introduce what budget is. We're going to understand the purpose of cash flow planning. Of course, you have to understand what cash flow is. I'm going to define that in the assignments. Identify reasons some people avoid having or sticking to a budget. So what are the possible reasons why people don't stick to a budget or even plan for a budget? Identify changes in personal spending behaviors that contribute to wealth building, and then explain the difference between cash flow statement and a budget. So again, it's important to understand your cash flow, how much money is coming in and how much money is being spent, and then budget. So budget is not the same thing of understanding how what income is coming in and what's being spent on. That's not necessarily budget. Budget will be, and I'm giving you a little introduction of what budget is in comparison to cash flow. Budgeting is adjusting your cash flow so you can have a positive, which means you have a little more money saved up, or maybe at least at zero, like you're not spending more than you have. So that's what a budget will be versus a cash flow. All right, Pierre, how are you? Nice to meet you. I don't know if you have your audio, and I don't think you have your audio on. So when you connected, I don't think you were connected to audio.
Yeah, I'm
there
just
you are. You got it.
Cool. Take a photo from my senior portfolio, a screenshot.
Well, when are you planning to graduate? When are you planning to graduate? Are you graduating in June or December?
June.
Oh, perfect. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, let's do it. Let's have you graduate. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So by the way, I'm recording this. I always record, especially the math classes. I always record them. So if you miss something, you can always come back to what I talked about. We are going to do a little bit of math calculations, so you might want to review it again, okay? So basically right now I'm reviewing what the assignments are for this week. All right, so the first part of so you have an Edpuzzle assignment, and I'm gonna, since Pierre is new, I am gonna explain how to access Edpuzzle, because let me view it as a student and let me view it as Pierre. Am I saying your name correctly, Pierre or Pierre?
Yes. You sent it correctly.
Okay. So I'm looking for, what's your last name, Pierre?
Howard,
Howard.
Howard.
All right. I don't see you on my list, so I make sure you're on the right class.
Well, I'm just here to take a picture
Okay.
from my senior portfolio with the Zoom. It was kind of qualified.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay, I'll double check right now, but I'll go ahead and continue, okay? So let me just pick another student, okay? So I'm gonna pick Omari, okay? Because I want you to understand how to access the Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is a video with an assignment. So it's a lesson with an assignment at the same time. So I'm gonna show you how it works, okay? So when you go to your class, you're gonna see the first thing that pops out is the Zoom schedule for that particular class, and then the link, if you click on the highlighted area. And then below that is a little more class information, more in detail. And then below that is the lessons and assignments folder. So I'm gonna click on that to access the assignments, okay? And lessons. So one day of the week, you're on Zoom. The other days, you're pretty much self-directing. So I gotta make sure that I put videos that are easy to follow in order to complete the assignments, okay? And you're always welcome to email me, but I'm also gonna provide you with my phone number so you can text me. Just let me know who you are so I can unblock people. Usually I have to unblock people at the beginning, so just let me know who you are, okay? All right, so we were on so this is week 7, May 24 to 27. And right now I'm covering Monday's assignment and today's assignment. So if you haven't started Monday's assignment, you still have today to basically complete it. I didn't really put a deadline, but I want you to follow the schedule, because if you don't submit an assignment on a daily basis, Monday to Thursday, you're going to be considered absent. Okay. All right. So I'm pretending I'm a student, and notice that the first time I try to open Edpuzzle, is gonna give me an error, or is gonna ask me to sign up. Okay. So I'm sorry, it's loading a little bit. It's a little slow, my computer. Usually this is my spot where internet is the best. So that's why I have this little corner of my house. But today's, you see how it says that you need to register or something happened. So what you need to do is just go back to that folder, May 24th to 25th, go back so you can exit from this. Just go back to that folder, which again, you're gonna try again. But by the second time, it should let you in automatically. I don't know why it does this, but it always happens, okay? Otherwise, I have to give you a code, and that might, if you don't have it, if you don't have access to the code immediately, then you won't be able to do the assignment. So this is just, for me, it's easier for me to do that, just so you have to remember to try it twice. So then you click on this. And let's watch a little bit.
One of the main reasons people endlessly struggle with money is a simple lack of financial knowledge. But don't beat yourself up, it's not really your fault. They don't teach you this stuff at school, and your parents probably don't know it either. Good news is you can quite quickly learn some of the basics, which we'll cover here. What we're going to show you is the basic foundation that can build and improve your financial education. Some of this might seem quite obvious, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The first term we're going to cover is cash flow. You need to understand cash flow, and it's probably the easiest to work out. All you do is you add up all the money you receive in a month, income, and subtract all the money you spend, expenditure, and whatever is left is your cash flow. Quite simple.
All right, and then the video is gonna pause, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, internet's bad." No, if you go down, it's just gonna ask you a question: what is cash flow? Based on what it explained the video. If for whatever reason you got distracted, you need to go back. You can click on rewatch right here. Okay, and if you're ready to know what it is, and let's just review because this is very important. Okay, but it's not difficult. So basically, cash flow is income, monthly income minus the monthly expenses. And we're gonna talk about why is it important to do monthly to calculate cash flow versus weekly or bi-weekly. Okay, so cash flow is gonna be the monthly income, how much you bringing in every month, minus how much you're spending every month. Whatever's left is what we call cash flow. If your cash flow is minus, that means you're spending more than you have. You're probably borrowing money or you owe money. You're not paying all your bills. So a negative cash flow, it's a bad thing. So to adjust it, to make adjustments to your cash flow is what we call a budget. So that's the difference between cash flow and a budget. A budget is you're adjusting your expenditures. You can adjust your expenditures, how much you're spending, or you can adjust your income. You can increase the number of hours, or you can get another job. Either of those two ways can work, but the easiest one is to adjust, unneeded things that you don't necessarily need, okay, or cut down on some expenditures. Some things it's a fixed income. I mean, a fixed expense, which we're going to talk about in another video. And the other one is something that that's flexible, you can change. Okay, it's more like a want more than a need. So what is cash flow based on this? Anybody? Is it one or the second one? The first one or the second one?
Is it the first one?
So is that the income minus expenses? You are, what, let me see.
Second
Anybody?
one.
Anybody else? Second one, okay. Anybody else? So I got Andy, I got Diamond. Ernie, what do you think? I think you just joined us, right? So you probably didn't watch the video, but it's basically cash flow is income minus expenses. Whatever's left is what we call cash flow. So it is the income minus expenses. And we are going to talk about income and expenses on a monthly basis to consider what cash flow is, because like in the warm-up, I asked, what did I ask in the warm-up? I'm going to stop it right here. What did I ask in the warm-up? Let me go back. In the warm-up, I said, list one monthly expense you have. And some of you said phones, okay? Cell phones, okay? Now, how many of you actually pay rent? That mean you pay the rent? The entire rent?
No.
Andy?
Nah.
Ernie?
What happened?
Do you pay the entire rent?
No.
Okay, but you will eventually, okay? We're gonna talk about that. So what do you know about rent? When is rent need to be paid? Does it need to be paid every week, every 2 weeks, or every month?
Monthly.
Okay, what about utilities like gas, electricity? When do you pay those? Every week?
Monthly.
Monthly. A lot of times, well, there are some cities that actually have 3 months, but mainly it's monthly. So most of the expenses are billed every month. So that's why it's important to calculate everything monthly, even if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly every 2 weeks. Okay, So that's why we are going to be using, monthly to calculate cash flow and budget. Remember, budget is just adjusting your expenditures or your income to make sure you have enough cash flow. Okay. All right. So let me go back. So basically today, Monday and today, you were supposed to basically learn about cash flow, budgeting. What is budget? And you're also going to be talking about, going back to this budget thing for today, is calculating cash flow and budgets. Okay, so let's open that assignment. I'm going to open that assignment to kind of help you out. This one, this is where you're going to need a little more help because there's more math involved. So I want to make sure that we do this not completely. I'm not going to do everything together with you, but I'm going to set it up for you. Okay, so let me go ahead and we're going to do this together. All right. So what we have here is have a situation. So Steve, this is Steve, April 2021 cash flow. So we're looking at his cash flow. Okay. So Steve is 18 years old and live with parents. He's not paying rent, but his obligation is the gas and electrical bills. So he needs to pay gas and electrical bills. He doesn't have to pay some of the rent at all. Okay. So Steve's income is bi-weekly. What does bi-weekly mean?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Very good. Okay. So his income is $542.95. Okay. Now, remember what I said. Everything that we're going to do is going to be monthly. Okay. So right away, since we're going to be calculating cash flow and budgets, right away, what do we need to do? We need to calculate this monthly, right? So I need his income, so monthly income. It's kind of difficult to write on this path, the laptop. Monthly income. So what do I need to do to find out his monthly income? I put the little dot, which means what in math?
A decimal?
That could be a decimal, but what else could it mean?
Oh, multiplying, right?
Multiplying, okay? So what do you think I'm gonna multiply? So this is every 2 weeks. How many weeks normally in a month, an average?
4.
4. So if he gets paid every 2 weeks, okay, so every 2 weeks, how many of those checks is he gonna get in a month if it's every 2 weeks?
2.
Very good. So I'm gonna multiply 542.95 times 2. You're gonna use your calculator, okay? And I'm just gonna put a random number right now. Okay, this is not correct. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 1,000. Okay, 1,050. I'm just gonna make it up. So you can use calculators for this, but you need to set it up just like I did here. And of course, I'm doing this at the beginning in the information, but you're gonna see that you're gonna have a place where you're gonna write your setup and then use your calculator to find your answer. Okay, so you can use calculators. You just need to show me your setup. This is called a setup right here. And then your answer after using the calculator. Okay, all right, now bills. So bills are that he needs to pay. So Steve needs to pay the cell phones every month. How much does he pay every month for the cell phone?
$50.
Okay, thank you, Diamond. Can somebody else besides Diamond help her out? All right, what about internet? Andy, how much does he have to pay per month for internet? Oops. Okay, 65, right? And by the way,
It's 11 o'clock.
and by the way, internet is also monthly. Cable, Netflix is also monthly. So here it is. He has Amazon Prime member. So wow, okay, I guess he likes to spend money, and he likes to shop. So he has the Prime membership. Okay, who has Prime membership for Amazon? I do. Okay, and of course he has to pay those bills that the parents that he agreed to pay for parents. So the gas bill for this month was $69.50, and for this month the electrical bill for April was $90.80. Now let me ask Ernie, does the gas bill and the electrical bill, do they always stay the same, and why not, or why? Or if they do, why?
They don't.
They don't. So why not?
I don't know. They just don't.
Okay, you don't know. Okay, what about Andy? Can you guess why the gas and electrical bills don't always stay the same? I mean, you'll be lucky if they stay the same, but why did it don't stay the same? What's your theory?
It depends how much you use the utilities.
Very good. Okay. Now, what depends on that? So
The usage, right?
yeah, but what depends on that too? Think about seasons. So during the winter, what do we use more?
Heaters.
Heaters. Okay. It depends on your house, but if you have a gas heater, you probably spend a little more gas, right, than electrical. But if you have a electrical heater, maybe you're gonna spend electrical more on the winter. Now, in the summer, it's hot. So some people might have ACs, air conditioners, okay? So if you have an air conditioner, what do you expect to happen to your electrical bill in the summer?
It's gonna be really high.
It's gonna be higher, right? It depends on how much you use the air conditioner, right? Some people
Mhm.
can just use it during the peak when it's really hot, and then they open all their windows by the time that's cooling already. Okay, so it just depends how you manage that. Okay, but so this is only for April, so that is gonna change. But all of these are monthly expenses that Steve had to pay for April. Okay, all right. So now, what other expenses did Steve have? Ernie, what else do you see? What other expenses did he have? Steve. You can name just like two.
Dog food.
Sorry, they like to raise my street. Okay, so anybody else? Can somebody else help him? What other expenses did Steve had?
There's groceries,
How many times-
that
How many times did he buy groceries?
twice.
Twice, okay. All right, so twice in that month, right?
Yeah.
So everything that we need to do is monthly. So this is already monthly. So we're gonna leave that alone. So income needs to be monthly. The monthly bills are, I put them together, so leave them alone because you're gonna add those eventually, right? And then these other expenses is just by date. And then, so we're gonna add those, the 89. So those two are, we're gonna be adding it so we can get the monthly. So you just need to set it up. All you need to show me on the worksheet, but on this assessment, and there's gonna be an opportunity where you're gonna be able to write the short response like this. You're gonna write 89, 90 plus 32, 16 equals, use your calculator. There's actually a calculator on Schoology that you can use. If you don't have your phone, you can access that, and then it will give you a monthly expense for groceries. How many times did he eat out in the month of April? Anybody?
What's the question?
Okay, how many times did Steve eat out?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6. So let me see. Did I miss something? 1,
Yeah, April 11.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah, 6.
6. All right, so you're gonna add all those to get the monthly, just like you did here. So all you need to do is put those numbers and add them up. Use your calculator to give me the answer. That's how you're gonna. So you have to set up. In order for me to give you the full credits, you need to set it up. You can use your calculator to find the final answer. Okay. So movies. How many times did he go to the movies in April? I guess this is pre-pandemic. Okay, so how many times? Twice. So you add those two, and that will give you a monthly expense for movies. How many times did he go to a club? He must be 18 and over. Oh, there's 18 and over clubs, I think. And there's 21 and over clubs. So he must be, I don't know. Oh, he's 18. So there must be an 18. It must be an 18 and over club, okay, in his neighborhood. So we got 69.45. That's expensive. Maybe it was the Diet Coke that he bought. At 18. Sorry, there's racing going on all the time. Anyways, so you don't need to add up any, that's all the expenses for the month for clubbing. All right, clothing. It says clothing. He went one time. How much did he spend on clothing? Anybody?
$39.45.
Wow, he must have wanted to make sure to impress the ladies at the club. Okay, so he spent a lot of money on clothing for that month. He went once, and that's how much the expenses were. So you don't need to add anything. That was the entire month. Haircut. Wow, he only went once, but $49 for the haircut. I don't know what it was, but it must have been a really good haircut. All right, but that's the haircut, $49. I don't know how much haircuts are anymore because I cut my own hair now. I hate waiting, but there it is, $49.
$25 to $30.
So I'm about right, okay? So I made these numbers up, okay? Thinking of like what situations are right now, pre-pandemic. And then he bought a big bag of dog food for the month for $33.43. So what you need to do, okay, let me just close this real quick so I can move it. So so what you needed to do is you're gonna respond to all these questions. Some of these, we done it together already. So let me kind of erase this right here. if I may, let me just go back to clear. Can you guys see my screen? Because sometimes you, for some reason, it won't show. Can you guys all see my screen? Okay. So here are the questions. Here's where you're gonna write your short response. So remember, like number one, it says, what is Steve's monthly net income? Net income. All right. We are assuming that's his net income because I did not tell you anything else. Like that's how much I just said Steve's income. So I'm saying that he made that money. So remember, what he takes home, what most people take home is your net. You never get your gross unless you work under the table where you don't have to pay taxes. So so we're assuming that his take-home pay every 2 weeks is this amount, and that will be your net income. So I wanted to make sure we hit net income again. So all you need to do is write the answer right there. Okay, that's it. Number two, add up all April bills, which should be monthly. Show your setup and use your calculator for the answer. So I want you to just write all the monthly expenses right here. Oops. This ones, okay? Just add those. The ones that I said they were monthly. Okay, that's number two. You're gonna set it up. So let me just write number two here. So that will be all these amounts right here plus, because they're already in monthly. Then number three says, add up all the grocery expenses for the month of April. So I just, like I did before, just add the 89.90 and the 32.60 to find your monthly expense because you only went to the groceries twice and that's how much you spend. Then you need to add all the dining out expenses. So add all these numbers right here. And then add up all the movie expenses, which is twice. Just add those. Number, what was I? Number 6, April expenses for the club, only one, so you don't need to just write the answer. Clothing, only went once, etc. Then eventually you are going to come to the number 8, which is finding out the cash flow. The cash flow is, you have to remember what the cash flow was, which was, and I'll write the setup for number 8, okay? So cash flow is gonna be monthly income. The reason now I'm using monthly income instead of weekly or bi-weekly is because most bills are monthly. So you wanna make sure everything is monthly. So monthly income minus all monthly expenses. So even the other expenses that were not necessarily a monthly, I added every single thing so to make it monthly. Okay, so basically adding all of these and the answers to all of these when you add them up. Okay, and that's gonna give whatever the answer is gonna be the cash flow. Now let me just write something here. If it's minus, like minus $340, okay? What does that mean? Any theory? So if your income minus expenses was a negative, what does that indicate?
Can you repeat that again, Sugar?
Yeah, if your monthly, okay, if your cash flow,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so monthly cash flow is your monthly income, how much you bringing in money
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
minus all the expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Whatever's left is your cash flow. But if your cash flow is negative, are you left with anything?
No, you don't make enough.
Yeah, so what happened? So how could it happen? Minus 340. Well, there's only 2 ways you can have 340. Ignore some of the bills, like skip the bills. Oh, I'm just not gonna pay my Spectrum internet. And I'm just
No,
until I
it
get
would
a
be
notice.
like, it would be, no, those like cable bill, them is fixed expenses. So you would cut down on clothing, you would cut down on food, like dining out, you would cut down on the club, stuff like
Everything,
that.
very good. Everything you said, Jasara, is called budgeting.
Mhm.
So yes, you need to first find out your cash flow before you can budget. So there's no way you can budget without knowing your cash flow. So if you don't calculate your cash flow and find out, hey, I'm spending more than I'm making, that's why I'm not paying my bills on time, or that's why I have to borrow money to come up with the 340 to be even. So that, and then once you go back, okay, there's nothing you could do for April anymore because that was the expenses. You wait until April, it was too late to find out that you need to borrow money or that you need to make some kind of critical decision of not paying the cell phone or waiting until you get a notice, just I'm gonna skip it until next month till they give me a notice. People do that, right? To try to make up for the minus, right? Or they can borrow. If they can borrow, but then you'll be in debt again for next month. So what you need to do for next month, before next month actually starts, you need to budget. That's what you said right now, Jasara, is you need to go back to this and, hey, forget about groceries. I need groceries. I don't need to dine out.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't need to go to the movie twice a week if I don't need to, just once maybe.
Mhm.
Club, hey, you know what? It's too expensive. Maybe I should just cut down on clubs this month, maybe every 2 months or 3 months. Clothing, hey, you know what? I went over that 439, it killed me.
That's a lot on clothing.
Actually, all I needed to do is don't spend that much money. All I needed to do is spend $100 in clothing,
Mhm.
and I would have been fine. Because look, 340, how much did I spend? Almost 100, if I would have just spent $100, basically $100 and I don't know, something cents, I would have been even.
Mhm.
So maybe all I need to do is don't buy clothes anymore for a long time. Okay. So that is budgeting. So that's exactly what budgeting is. But in order to budget, you need to calculate your cash flow. So any questions on what you need to do for this assignment? So this assignment, we're not budgeting yet. All I want you to show me to calculate is your cash flow. So I'm going to close this right now. Okay. And you can watch this video just in case you need to first review what I said. I'm going to post this video. It's going to be ready for sure by the end of the day. Let's see. Okay, then it's a follow-up question. Is Steve's cash flow positive or negative? Remember, I made up a number, okay, but you really need to find out what the truth is, okay? And you need to explain what was the truth number, because I just made up the numbers, like the answers. Remember, you need to actually do it and then write the answer here, okay? Actually, the way I have it in the format, hold on one second. It's a teacher's edition, so my bad. So this is for number 1. Then you go to number 2. The answer to is his cash flow positive or negative, okay? And then you're gonna budget at the end. So you are going to basically go back to this and adjust it. So it can be at least even, okay? The truth is, you always wanna have savings, okay? You always wanna have some kind of savings. Raise your hand, okay? How many of you want to be rich? I mean, millionaire? Thumbs up.
I'm
or you-
pretty sure everyone in this class wants
I
to
don't
be a
know.
millionaire.
Actually, I don't.
Why?
Why? Because Okay, I'll tell you why. I would not know if my friends are my friends because they care about me or because they care about my money.
So you keep the
That
same
is a
friends,
great response.
but you're supposed to keep the same friends that you've been with since you guys all been, regular.
So keep the ones that have been with you while you're on regular wage, and don't make new friends while you're a millionaire, because that shows you that they're only in it for money.
Yeah, my head is gonna play with me, and I will not. I would still say, okay, are they here for my money or are they here for me? I'm okay. I'm okay as long as I can pay my bills. I'm good. but that means, I mean, you guys want to be rich, that's fine. That's me. Okay, I just want to have enough money to, enjoy life. That's it. But that's me, just my opinion, since you asked. Okay. All right. So, anyways, if you want to be rich, okay, let me just close this because there is a video somewhere on the assignments about the tricks of successful people, what they needed to do in order to become rich. And what they're going to tell you is they were tight on their cash flow. They did not go, they never dined out. They never went to a club. They never spent $400 and something on clothes that they don't need. They were tight. Okay. There's some the testimonies that said that that if a friend invited them to lunch, they'll take the offer. Okay. But they'll never invite a friend to eat. Because they had a goal. The goal is to save as much money as possible to open up a business. And that's how they became rich. So let me see if I can find it. So there's Ed Puzzle. What time is it? I want to make sure. We have a few minutes. Actually, we a little bit over, but let me go back to a couple of assignments. Because some of you have a class after this. So let me just go back real quick, just to make sure. So on the budget, all you need to do is remove some of the expenses, and since you already have the cash flow, just subtract whatever the expenses that you're subtracting from the cash flow, and that will be your budget to at least even it up. Ooh, what happened? Okay. All right. Now, there are a couple. How many of you want to live independent? Have your own place?
Me,
Who's me?
Jazara.
Sarah. I did too at your age. Okay. Anybody else? I didn't want to follow my parents' rules. I wanted my rules. Okay. So we're gonna find out how to prepare for that future. But you need to, once you start having income, you need to start saving up, and you need to do a cash flow, and you need to do a budget to save up. There's no way you can save up without actually budgeting. So the importance of budgeting is because you have a set goal, money-wise, to do a certain to reach a certain goal, and that could be living independent. And there's different options of living independent. You also have to think about what it takes to be independent. Our APT is going to be about that. We are going to look at two situations. One I'm going to give, and one you're going to choose, career. Like, I'm going to give you a job. This is how much they get paid. Find out, this is the budget. This is how much they get paid. Find out if you can live independently based on this budget. And then you have probably an idea what you want to study. You're going to find out how much that field pays in California, because every state is different. So because California is very expensive, usually they pay more than other states. So it just depends. So we're going to do some research, but we're going to guide you to the APT. All this is preparing you for the APT. But I also want to talk about what tomorrow's assignments are. So so the first thing is checking versus savings account. So you're gonna watch a Edpuzzle video. What is a checking and what's a savings account? And we're gonna talk about banks versus credit unions. What's a bank and what's a credit union? How many of you heard of credit unions? Raise your hand or say yeah. Let me put my camera. Okay, Oscar, anybody else? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. A bank has to make money because a bank has investors, and they want to make money. So a bank is looking for profit. Credit union is not for profit, is non-profit. So their goal is to basically help their community. So that could be that could tell you a lot of the difference between both of them. So a bank might be, if you never had credit, a bank might be super hard to get a credit card, your first credit card, versus a credit union might be more flexible on giving you a credit card if you never had credit. They might offer a better, they might offer a better percentage rate as far as like how much money you have to pay for a loan, for a car loan or anything like that. So they're not bank. So all that information is on that Edpuzzle video. And then the key question is how to open your first bank account. How to open a checking and savings account. Can you open a checking and savings account if I'm 16? Yes, you can open a savings, a checking account if you're 1 month old. Okay, find out what you need. Okay, so you don't need to wait for long because without a checking account, you won't be able to establish credit. That is the first key to establishing credit. We're going to talk about credit the following day because credit and credit history plays a big role in everything you're going to do in this society, the capitalist society, which is all based on how much you make and giving you the power to purchase stuff, to be a consumer. And a power is the credit, right? Credit could be bad, but it could also be good because there's certain things that you cannot necessarily buy unless you're rich, like you want to be, and not me. Unless you're rich, you can buy a house in cash, maybe. But if you're not rich like me, then you probably need credit in order to purchase your home. So that's why credit might be important to buy big purchases like a home. Okay, so but if you misuse it, your credit is going to be ruined for a long time. So what is credit? There's an Edpuzzle video, how to get your first credit card and how to build your credit, how to make sure that you don't ruin your credit and when you should be ready for a credit card and build credit. Because if you don't have a steady income, then you're probably not ready for a credit card. Okay, unless you can get a credit card and not use it and be like very strict on not using it. All this is in the videos. So we actually went like 8 minutes after this, but I think some of you don't have a class, but that's why I feel comfortable going the 8 minutes after. But the class ends at 11:20. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So this is an easy math class because number one, you're learning things that you need to know, right, to be independent. There's not really a lot of math involved, and you can use calculators. Okay, so take advantage of the class and make sure you complete the assignments. I left some folders open still, but do not wait to the last minute to complete assignments, because if you do that, you are not going to be able to complete the assignments on time. And we're going to start working on APT together. We're going to do it together. Not everything. I'm not going to do everything for you, but I'm going to help guide you starting on June. And just last thing before you leave is just if you, in case you missed this. So on June 8th, I'm going to have a medical procedure. So I will not be able to work that day. I'm actually going to be knocked out. I'm going to be under anesthesia. But so I'm going to reschedule the June 8th class to a Monday. So it's going to be instead of a Tuesday, it's going to be the Monday before, the day before. All right, at the same time. And then I should be back since I'm at home. I can work from home. I should be fine to resume helping you guys. So you guys, welcome. It's not going to be a major like surgery or anything like that. But Tuesday, I won't be able to work at all. All right. And peace out. I just want to make sure that I give you credit. So I just want to take a picture of who's here. And you guys can go. I don't want to make you late to your class.
Thank you, Mr. Trigo.
Welcome.
Trigo, I wasn't in your class earlier because I had a meeting.
Oh yeah, I know. I figured it out. So you just have to make sure you submit like proof, like notes from the meeting or something like that. And then I'll excuse it. What that means is like either I will excuse it, that means it doesn't count towards your average grade, or if you give me the notes, I will, instead of the assignment, that is going to count towards the assignment of that day. But I still want you to do the assignments just because I don't want you to, especially towards the end, because I don't want you to miss any assignments that are.
I've done all the work. I'm caught up. The only class I need you to grade my work for is this class. My other class, I got good grades in. I want to say I got a B.
You know what? As a matter of fact, what I'm going to start doing with Lobos is, as long as you give me proof that you're doing attending actions or doing community, events. My APTs are usually like I do the math portion, and then sometimes I have a part A, which is the math portion, and then B will be more like the action portion or the social justice component. That social justice component, if you're a Lobo and you have demonstrated that you've been going to actions, that portion you don't have to complete anymore.
Okay.
Is that a deal?
Okay.
All right, Ernie. Peace out.
Hey, Trigo.
Hi.
I'm gonna go because I have a class in a few minutes. Can I just tell you when we can talk?
Sure.
I like your class today. Said like, I need to work on my cash flow too. I need to apply what I learned today.
Yeah, me too, actually. Learning about it.
Are we really doing it? I'm trying to reflect myself. Like,
Let me stop the recording because
I think it's good to have a reflection so you will